Hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Welcome and thank you for participating in the Supplemental Environmental Projects webinar today. My name is Joy Douglas and I'm an Environment and Development Planner 1 with the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and I will be moderating today's webinar. I'm happy you are all here and very excited for you to see this awesome presentation today. A few housekeeping items. We will be recording this webinar, which will be available on the NCTCOG TMDL website, along with the presentation. And we'll be taking questions in the chat box throughout the webinar, and we'll post them with the answers with the webinar and presentation on our website. So we will go ahead and get started. And I just went over this just so you know. All right, so what is the North Central Texas Council of Governments, you may ask? It is a voluntary association of local governments that was established in 1966. Which assists local governments in planning for common needs, cooperating for mutual benefit, recognizing regional opportunities, resolving regional problems, and making joint decisions. So, what this webinar is about is TMDLs. It alludes to one of our programs that we have. And a TMDL stands for total maximum daily load, and it is a budget for pollutants that a waterway can receive and still safely maintain its designated use. TMDLs are assigned to waterways that are not meeting state water quality standards for their designated use, causing it to be impaired. And so we have some TMDLs in the DFW Metroplex. Impairments can be caused by pet waste, sanitary sewer overflows, agricultural practices, water waste treatment plants, illicit discharges, on-site sewage facilities, septic systems also, and wildlife waste. Through the implementation plan, NCTCOG works with local governments to implement best management practices, that is also known as BMPs, to reduce the source of bacteria. The I plan includes BMPs for participation in regional initiatives, education and outreach, ordinances, guidelines, and/or management plan adoption, and much more. The implementation plan also guides projects and workshops selected by the TMDL Coordination Committee. This slide has a lot of our available TMDL resources. They're located here, and they're also located on our website. And you can click on any of these links if you want to see any of these things. And then we also have newsletters that come out every quarter. We have our December newsletter for 2024 coming out pretty soon. We have our BMP library, and we have workshops and webinars like the one today to also provide other resources too. So without further ado, we will welcome our lovely presenters today, Carlos and Adena. Today, our presenters are Adena Crider, who is the Supplemental Environmental Projects Program Leader, and Carlos Flores, who is a Supplemental Environmental Projects Coordinator with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. Adena Crider is the SEP Work Program Leader with the TCEQ in the San Antonio region. In her role, she reviews SEPs as they are developed and works with our third-party administrators, developing agreements, reviewing quarterly reports, and tracking compliance. Carlos Flores is an SEP coordinator with TCEQ in the El Paso region. And in his role, he plays a crucial part in reviewing applications, offering guidance to applicants, and addressing any questions related to the program. Without further ado, let's welcome our lovely presenters, Adena and Carlos.
So like he had to say like I also didn't have to say anything or nothing. And then he had to like
Okay. Hi, as stated, I'm Carlos Flores, and I'll be giving the part of the presentation regarding the Supplemental Environmental Projects, or SEPs, or SEPs as we call them, program that's part of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. We're just going to go over an overview of our program, what's it about, and how it benefits you and the communities. Okay, slide. So what is an SEP? An SEP is an environmental enhancement project that offsets a respondent's administrative penalty in a TCEQ enforcement matter. It's a voluntary settlement tool that allows anyone to that has an enforcement order to settle it and offset using performing a project. The SEP statute is found within the Texas Water Code 7.067. Below is our website and contains all of the information about our program, our guidance document, the SEP statute, and our applications. Slide. So what is the purpose of SEPs? Slide. So it is to prevent pollution, enhance the quality of the environment, reduce the amount of pollutants reaching the environment, and contribute to public awareness of environmental matters. Slide. So just a little bit of the history of SEPs in Texas. They were actually started in 1991 with a predecessor agency of TCEQ. After that, it's gone through several changes. The SEP statute was created in 1997. There's been Senate bills and House bills that have added to that SEP statute, and the latest one was in 2015 when we updated our guidance publication, and hopefully here in the near future we can update that as well. Slide. So where do these projects take place? So the SEP location within the SEP statute, it says that we should give preference to benefit the community in which the alleged violation occurred. Community is not explicitly defined within the SEP statute. So through our program guidance, we've come up with a few examples such as city, county, the river basin, an aquifer, or an air control region. Slide. So SEP media. So we have two types of SEPs. There's air SEPs and water and waste SEPs, which are combined together. Air SEPs are performed with penalty monies from air violations, and water and waste SEPs can be performed with penalty monies from water and or waste violations. Slide. So what does it mean by a SEP offset? So all of our SEPs are funded by the penalties that are assessed against respondents. The SEP offset does not reduce the total penalty that a respondent owes, and is determined by the type of respondent and the environmental benefit. And I'll talk about that a little bit in the next slide. So respondent can choose to contribute to a pre-approved SEP, or they can perform a custom SEP or a compliance SEP, expending at least the SEP offset amount. Slide. So as stated, the percent offset is based on the type of the respondent. So governmental entities and nonprofits, they're able to offset 100% of their penalty, while for-profit corporations and individuals have a maximum offset of 50%. In terms of the environmental benefit, there's direct, indirect, and mixed. Direct maximizes the amount of that you can offset. So if you can offset 50%, you're able to offset that maximum of 50. If you're a nonprofit or government, it's 100%. And direct projects are ones that directly benefit the environment, whether it's replace a wastewater treatment plant or host collection events. An indirect one, you can only offset a portion of your maximum offset. Usually it's 33%, as seen in the chart right here. Those will include educational and public awareness projects. Mixed is a combination of both of those. Right now, we only have direct SEPs in our program. Next slide. So there's different types of SEPs. There's 3. Slide. The first one's going to be a custom SEP, and any respondent can perform that one. The next one's contribution to a pre-approved SEP, and any respondent can also do that one. And our last one is a compliance SEP, which only local governments are able to perform. Slide. So the first one, a custom SEP, any respondent can spend their allowable SEP offset amount to implement an environmental enhancement project to address the specific needs within the community where the respondent's alleged violation occurred. Basically, you'll design and propose the project that you want to create within the community, send it to TCEQ for approval, and then you must implement and execute that project. A custom SEP cannot benefit the respondent, and it can't address the violations. These are a little bit time consuming, but it allows the respondent to plan around specific needs for the community. They must be fully completed within 365 days from the effective date of the agreed order, and they must be approved by the commission before you can commence the project. Examples of these include household hazardous waste collection events, cleaning up illegal dump sites, tire collection events, removing not invasive species and planting native species. Here we have an example of the San Antonio River Authority. They performed a household hazardous waste cleanup event. They collected about 55 tons of hazardous waste, including electronics, paints, tires, all kinds of things. And here's a lovely picture of that. Slide. The next one is a contribution to a pre-approved SEP. Any respondent can choose to contribute their allowable SEP offset amount to a third-party administrator that has an existing SEP agreement with TCEQ to perform a SEP. So basically, the third-party administrators manage these projects. They're already ready to go and they're ongoing. So contributing is a simple way for the respondents to give back to the community without having to undertake the environmental project themselves. They're limited to pre-approved SEPs in the respondent's community that matches the respondent's violation media. Pre-approved SEP cannot benefit the respondent, and it must be approved by the commission before contribution can occur. Here's a screenshot of our website that contains all of those projects that are performed by third-party administrators. You can click on any of those hyperlinks and it'll give you a description of the project, what it entails and what they're doing, and their funding status. And there's also up there, there's that search bar, and you can filter it through media type or through county, and that way you can know which ones are in your community and your media violation. Slide. The third one is a compliance SEP, or a CSEP as we call it sometimes. So a local government respondent can spend their allowable SEP offset amount to implement an environmental enhancement project that is necessary to bring the local government into compliance with environmental laws or necessary to remediate environmental harm caused by a local government respondent's alleged violation. Again, only local government can perform a CSEP. A local government is defined within the SEP statute. So this includes school district, county, municipality, junior college district, river authority, water district, or other special district, or other political subdivision created under the Constitution or statute of the state. Slide. So the CSEP can benefit the local government respondent. As stated, it's used to remediate that violation or come into compliance with environmental laws. For example, if you have your exceedance of nitrate in your water supply and you install a filtration system, that would be an example of a project. A CSEP can be performed prior to a commission approval. So I know sometimes you're working to fix those violations after they've been issued by TCEQ. So we just want to make sure that you keep all your receipts, pictures, and documentation of any project performed to come into compliance or remediate environmental harm. For example, here's an example of the city of Huntsville. They're doing a clarifier rehabilitation. While the case is still ongoing and being developed, they are able to provide all that documentation and apply for a CSEP while it's going on. An important thing to note is they may not be used to directly resolve the violations that resulted from human error, such as record keeping violations or hiring a licensed operator. Slide. So there's two types of CSEPs. The first one is going to be a mandatory CSEP. So TCEQ must include in an enforcement order if they meet both conditions, which is that the local government has not previously committed the violation at the same site with the same underlying cause in the preceding 5 years, and they did not agree before the date of the commission initiated enforcement actions to perform the project. If those two conditions are not met, then TCEQ has a way to assess whether the respondent has the ability to pay the penalty. So we have to send it through our financial division for an assessment to see if they are able to perform CSEP. Slide. So here it is, just broken down a little bit easier for you to see. So if you're an individual, for-profit, 50% and maximum, and you can either perform a custom or pre-approved. Nonprofit governmental entities and local governments have 100% maximum offset, and then local government is the only one that can do a compliance step. Slide. And then here's just a visual representation of that table for anyone that is more of a visual learner. As you can see, local government is able to do contribution SEP, custom SEP, and compliance SEP, while for-profits and nonprofits can only do contribution and custom SEPs. Slide. And then Adena is going to go ahead and talk about our third-party administrators and continue the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning, and yes, we can. I can hear you at least.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so Carlos mentioned those pre-approved SEPs and the contribution to them. What those go to is these third-party administrators. Third-party administrators are governmental organizations or 501c3 nonprofits who can submit an application to perform a project that will benefit their community or anything really in the state, as long as there's an environmental benefit component. We'll get into that a little bit more later in the presentation. So these projects are actually performed by third-party administrators, and they do have to fulfill certain requirements, such as being able to maintain the funds that they receive, those penalty dollars, separately. We call those SEP funds, in a separate bank account, and provide a line item budget and comply with reporting requirements. For example, the picture on the right here, Audubon, Texas, they performed a project with penalty dollars received through this program, and were able to build a new dock for conservation activities out in Green Island. This was important because there are migratory birds out in that area, and we were trying to help protect those, what are they? Mating areas. Yeah, thank you. Slide, please. So to have a project on our list, you have to submit an application in which we'll review it, and a panel of other TCEQ staff will collaborate with you in developing what we call a third-party agreement, and it'll lay out the project details, contract terms, what you can and can't spend the funds on, how the funds will be spent in a certain amount of time. Pretty similar to a grant program, but unlike a grant program, these funds are not appropriated, and they are not coming directly from TCEQ. They're coming directly from those respondents. So we don't have the same requirements as a grant program. And once your application is approved, it'll get listed on our website, and you'll be eligible to receive those funds. Once you start receiving funds, you're able to start performing your project as soon as you have enough funds available. Now, this program is completely voluntary, like stated earlier, so if those respondents are not choosing to contribute penalty dollars to your project, then you won't be able, they won't be able to start your project until you actually receive those funds. Here's another example of a project that we have with the Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission. They have a project called the Lighthouse Program, and what that program does is provides energy efficiency upgrades to low-income homeowners in the Beaumont and Port Arthur area. Slide. So some other common examples of pre-approved projects. We do a lot of school bus replacement projects for local school districts. Energy efficiency upgrades to buildings and homes. Those buildings can include city buildings and school district buildings. We have a project on our list right now that's upgrading providing energy efficiency upgrades to a school district. We have established air monitoring networks, water and waste projects. We do a lot of habitat restoration, preservation, and acquisition projects. We provide low-income homeowners with wastewater and drinking water assistance. We have an established water monitoring network, and we are working to develop some public water system assistance projects. Excuse me. Slide, please. So as of right now, this past fiscal year, we have a total of 19 projects on our list that are available for funding. We have 20 that are fully funded, and in total, that's 39 different projects. This is a breakdown of the types of projects: air quality, different cleanup projects, habitat restoration. We have a wildlife conservation project and different water quality projects. Slide, please. So things that you can spend these funds on are the direct costs for implementing the project. That can include supplies, materials, contract labor, including engineering assessments. If you are a 501c3 nonprofit and a local government, you are allowed administrative costs that cannot exceed 10% of the direct cost of the project, and those can be used for salary and fringe benefits, travel and per diem, and overhead costs to implement the project. Slide. So the SEP program is not limited to what kind of project can be performed, as long as it enhances the quality of the environment. That's not explicitly limited to TCEQ's jurisdiction as defined under the Texas Water Code. And so these projects can be outside of the scope of just what TCEQ can enforce. For example, we just partnered with the Texas State Aquarium to provide rescue and recovery vehicles to help rescue and rehabilitate wildlife in response to freezes or other environmental spills. Slide. So currently our distribution of our third-party administrators throughout the state, we have a pretty dense distribution out in the coastal area. And as you can see up in the North Texas and West Texas area, we have very, very, very little third-party administrators. So we are looking for other third-party administrators that can help fill the need and wants to make a difference in their community up in, away from the coast. Slide. We are currently developing our program to, grow and be better and make a more environmental impact. So we're currently in the process of standardizing our terms and agreements for all of our third-party administrators and for all of those pre-approved SEPs. And starting this fiscal year, we are posting all of the agreements in their entirety on our website. We also had what TCEQ internally calls a commissioner work session, where we presented our program to the TCEQ commissioners and laid out some potential guidance document revisions and requests to policy changes that will help streamline our processes and procedures. We're trying to make it easier for contribution applications and encourage more SEPs throughout the state. Slide, please. This is another chart kind of showing that, I know those words are kind of small, the distribution of our third-party administrators and how the Houston and Beaumont area is pretty densely distributed, but like Dallas, Amarillo, Tyler, El Paso, Midland, and San Angelo TCEQ regions are, you know, minimal to no third-party administrators. So we, as a program, are trying to increase our outreach. We are very thankful that we were invited to give a presentation here today and hopefully able to pique some interest. Slide, please. We're also trying to increase transparency and public participation. So we are promoting success stories online. We're trying to utilize our website more, blogs and social media posts. And we are in the process of creating how-to videos to assist with the application process. Slide. So the big question that a lot of people have is how much money is actually like going to this program. So in all transparency, here is what has transpired over the last few fiscal years. This past fiscal year, we've seen an extreme increase in SEP participation, with the number of SEPs increasing, but with also penalty dollars going to SEPs increasing. So usually the program gets between $2 to $3 million a fiscal year. This past fiscal year, we got $7 million that went to SEPs, and we do anticipate that number to continue to go up. So the more applications that we get for third-party administrators, the more money that will be going back into the communities. Slide, please. I'm going to pass this back to Carlos, and he'll close us out.
Okay, so what if you have an enforcement case with TCEQ? If you're a local government, we encourage you to strongly apply for a compliance SEP. It helps you come into compliance and address environmental laws. So if you're not sure of your local government, if you qualify, please reach out to us. We'll go ahead and check for you and make sure you can. If you know you're not a local government but would still like to perform a project in your community, you can always do a custom SEP. You can visit our website. We have our different applications. Make sure it's the correct one. Or if you need assistance, again, reach out to us. We're more than happy to provide that application. Slide next, please. The most easiest way is to just contribute to a pre-approved SEP. Again, these projects are already in place, and you just have to fill out the application and pick one of the projects within the community and send that application. And it helps improve relationships with community nonprofits, local governments, and it keeps penalty dollars in your community. Next slide. If you're interested in becoming a third-party administrator, as we said, we're always looking for third-party administrators. If you have a project and you're unsure where to get funding, we could potentially be a solution to that. So feel free to reach out to us, submit an application, contact us, let us know. We can talk with you about it. As stated, we're trying to grow our third-party administrators, especially in the areas where there isn't a lot. So there is opportunities there to get funding. And then here's just an example of the Texas RCND that did a public water system assistant project for the city of Hamilton. Next slide, please. So again, here's all of our contact information. The easiest way to reach us is through the SEP reports inbox. We all have access to that, so we're able to go in there and review those emails if you need. And here's all of our personal emails. Adena's the work lead, myself, and then our senior attorney and our deputy director, who are also part of the program. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much to Carlos and Adena for that awesome presentation. And at this time, we will open the chat boxes for any questions. And any questions that Carlos and Adena cannot answer immediately will be answered after the webinar and posted on the NCTCOG TMDL website. Okay, awesome. We have the first question in the chat. The webinar will be available on our website after we finish with it because we're recording it. And so we will post it on our website and also on our YouTube channel. So there will be a follow-up email that comes out after the webinar as well to give you directives to all of those things. Thank you, Cassie, for your question. And then from Heather, we have a question. Can local governments be third-party administrators?
Yes, local governments, local governments and nonprofits can be third-party administrators.
So, thank you, Heather, for your question. Awesome. Darren said he doesn't have any questions at this time, but this was great information and thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Darren.
I will add one more thing I don't think we explicitly talked about, and that is if you know anyone in your community that should apply, help us outreach and let them know, hey, we learned about this program at TCEQ. We think you should apply. We know you want to do this big thing. Submit an application, and that would help us, and we would greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Adena, for that bonus tip. We do have a question from Grace. Are there online templates or samples for registering as a third-party administrator or samples of successful SEPs?
Yes, everything. We do have samples of how to fill out our application and SEPs available on our website, along with agreements and what exactly those projects look like, along with their funding status. So you can see how much funding they have received to date.
So thank you, Grace, for your question.
Looks like someone has a hand up.
Yes. Virginia, you can, are you able to type your question in the chat or? It's okay, awesome. We'll wait for Virginia to type her question or their question. Oh, and if unmuting is more convenient for you, Virginia, you can, okay, okay. Do the SCPs include bioremediation projects? Thank you for your question, Virginia.
I definitely think that that's something that we could look into. Yes.
All right, so that will wrap up our question and answer. Again, thank you so much to Adena and Carlos. And before we close out the webinar, I wanted to talk about something that we are doing to revamp the I-Plan strategies. So we're requesting updated contact information from our TMDL committee members and stakeholders. And this is due to transitions among our committee members since the last update, which was conducted in 2020. And as we continue to make the updates, having our committee members updated and current contact information is pertinent to ensuring that the right people are being engaged. And we are also seeking additional interested parties to participate as specific subject matter experts for specialized task forces to assist with the redevelopment of the TMDL I-Plan strategies over the next 2 years. So right here, there's a survey linked. This link down here, which will have more information about the task force and kind of reiterate some of the information that I'm giving you. And so the task forces that are available are as follows. We have the Wastewater Strategy Task Force, Stormwater Strategy Task Force, Planning and Development Strategy Task Force, Pets, Livestock and Wildlife Strategy Task Force, On-Site Sewage Facility Strategy Task Force, Monitoring Coordination Strategy Task Force, and the Education and Outreach Strategy Task Force. And there are also options to join an overarching TMDL committee, and the TMDL committees are as follows: the TMDL Coordination Committee, Upper Trinity River Basin Coordinating Committee, TMDL Stormwater Technical Subcommittee, TMDL Wastewater Technical Subcommittee, and TMDL Monitoring Coordination Technical Subcommittee. So I will drop the link in the chat for the survey, and you can use this link and fill it out yourself and share it as you see fit with subject matter experts. And it is also going to be available here, so you can click it conveniently. And I will also have this in the email follow-up for you to also be able to access. And if you need any other information or are wanting to get involved, please contact me, Joy Douglas, at jdouglas@nctcog.org, or Casey Cannon at ccannon@nctcog.org. So for our upcoming meetings and events, we have the Water Resources Council meeting January 15, 2025 at 10:30 via Microsoft Teams. We have Stormwater Public Education Task Force meeting January 22nd at 9:30 via Microsoft Teams. And we have our Regional Stormwater Management Coordinating Council meeting February 19th, 2025 at 9:30 via Microsoft Teams. And here is all of our contact information. There's me, Casey, and my supervisor, Hannah, and then all of our social media. So you'll be able to keep up with what we're doing. And then this will be posted on our YouTube channel and on our website. So thank you again to all who joined us today. Today's presentation, recording of the webinar, and questions will be made available on the TMDL program website and shared in a follow-up email to the registrants. So thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your morning.
Thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Adena and Carlos, again for your awesome presentation. And thank you everyone for all of your awesome engagement.